VMP at Arch. VMP is my babe. God is my shepherd. All day, every day. Yeah. Check. It's my
remember that right here in New York.
Oh man, what it is, man. What's up?
What is up with you, man? What's up?
Yo. Welcome to FKU Africa Podcast. This is your host, Maneza F8, man. We're keeping it cool, we're keeping it real, man. We are here still in the Durban, KZN. So yeah, man, as you know, that last week we didn't have a chance to record, to be busy with some personal problems that I was dealing with. But yeah, everything seems to be working out fine. There's nothing to really worry about in terms of the schedule, because I'm working for myself. This podcast is mine. No one is hiring me. No one is paying me for this, so I'm paying myself for this. So I don't really worry about missing an episode. The only thing that I worry about is not giving you the information, because I know there are people who are reliant on this information that I always cough up, and my reliable expert views. And my reliable information about the promotion and upliftment of Africa, because this podcast is all about the upliftment and promotion of Africa in terms of everything concerning Africans. It will be music, it will be videos, it will be film, it will be movies, it will be just politics, anything that has to do with African, man. We uplift that. We don't deal with negative stuff. We don't deal with really gossip and all that. We deal with positivity, man. I hope you all missed me while I was gone, but I'm back. What I want us to do, I want us to really try to push the podcast, man. In whatever platform you are, I'm making good numbers on. I see started to make good numbers now on Google Podcast. I don't know why is there a shift there, but I'm making good numbers in there. So if you are listening to Google Podcast, make sure that you search for FKU Africa Podcasts. You will see there a green logo. I tried to change it to the normal FKU Africa Podcast, the gold logo, but I don't know why it's not changing. So I'll be busy contacting the Google Podcast guys to check that out. Also, I see good numbers on the website, manezaf8.co.za. I appreciate those numbers, man. Without that, I wouldn't be able to pay myself to make sure that the podcast got good equipment and all that. You see now, I'm in my office. I'm in the studio, recording the podcast nicely. Everything is good. So it's because of what? It's because of people like you who are supporting the podcast. You don't have to pay me anything. You just need to keep on watching, keep on listening. Stay as long as you can on the podcast, on the website, manezafa.co.za. Stay as long as you can in there. Listen to the podcast from start to finish. There are videos in there. Watch the videos. If you feel like supporting with money, that's cool as well. There is a donate button in there. Press that donate button and go to check out, cough up whatever you can. I want to thank Siabulela Mcinga and Noli. I forgot the surname, and Andrew, for the donations on the donations via the website, and all those who are donating on PayPal, man. Appreciate that. That's very much working nicely for us to buy good equipment for good quality for the podcast. It works better for us if we use the money that we make on the podcast to buy the equipment, to buy new cameras, to buy a better processing computer so we can get the podcast on time, to buy services, streaming services online so we can sometimes stream live online so that you can get interaction from you guys. So that's great, man. You can also support the podcast on by entering the distro kit. There's a link on the description. On the on wherever you get a podcast ad, you can see a description. The link is in there. If you know someone who's an artist, you want to put the music on all digital platforms, go to the link there. I get something when you register there and put on your track. I will get something there. Also, if you are interested in cryptocurrency, use the link also on the description with the promo code that's in there. Go to app.revix.com. Revix.com. Use the promo code on the description for Revix. Enter in there and register to start investing in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum. All bundles of Bitcoins are there. All bundles of cryptocurrencies are there. So without wasting any time, man, a lot that has happened in the African scene. There's a lot that have happened in South Africa as well. I see people are busy on Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere, sending us videos about stuff that have been happening with the cases of gender-based violence. Man, this is what I want to deal with today. This thing of gender-based violence is really a thing that is personal to me, man. It's really personal because I've worked in the prison environment. I've heard stories. I've seen people who are going into the prison systems due to those kind of situations. And the worst thing is now when someone that was violating people in that manner. Now, that person, after some time, would seek now the forgiveness of the victim. The victims that are still alive, those that are fortunate enough to still be alive, because most of the gender-based violence victims, they don't make it into situations where their partners go to jail. When partners go to jail, usually the other partner goes to the grave. So those who manage to make it, we hear a lot of different kind of stories, man. When they go for VOD, vendor, victim, offender, dialogue, yes. So when they go for that, now they need to seek forgiveness from the people who were beating them, who were abusing them physically and emotionally. This thing, man, gets really emotional, and it's hard now when the guy that has stayed in prison for like 10 or 7 years, now he wants to get the parole, because before you get the parole, you must go through the VOD where you talk to your victims, and even if the victim is there, to take to someone that is close enough that is still alive to explain what was happening and clear out all the confusions concerning the incident and concerning the other incidents that led to the incident that led you to go to prisons. So that system, that's where we usually, when I was working in prison, we take the guys in there and listen up to the stories, and you hear the horrors of the victims that went throughout the years with the same person. So these things, man, a lot of those things are really things that cannot be forgettable from someone that was being abused. Now, sometimes I would ask the guys who were offending, who were abusing these people when they are back from there, just to seek clarity from him. How do you feel when someone is telling you that you used to beat me up until I cannot see? You used to beat me up. I wake up in hospital sometimes, and I was afraid of you. I couldn't get you arrested and stuff like that. And someone would say that when I was beating her, I was mostly intoxicated and mostly under the influence of drugs or alcohol. So I was not responsible for what I was doing. I was not in my clear mind, space of mind. And you find out those people who are saying that they never stay in a clear state of mind because they were not working, they were hustlers, most of those people. So we had a lot of these things that are happening. So yesterday it was the sentencing of the guy that killed the lady in East London, the lady who Andiswa, who was the law student, the fourth-year law student, who was about to finish and work for his parents. So his boyfriend killed her, and he was sentenced yesterday for murder, which he was sentenced for 25 years, which was still shocking for us. People that have worked with in the justice system who understands the sentencing, understands the penalties, which kind of sentences that someone would get in certain crimes, if you understand what I'm saying. So this one was really shocking because this one was a very high. It was all over media. People were protesting. People who were in the political scale were there during the services, during the time where there was a funeral. People were there. People who were famous were there. So this was a high-profile case. So we were at least expecting at least a life imprisonment with some few years, because there was a time during the time where the victim was dismembered, the body were cut in pieces and all these kind of things. So we tend to be shocked when we see that the guy was sentenced for 25 years, because that means the guy is like now is close to 30 or so. So he will be there for like 15 years. By 45 or 43, he will be back. He will still have his life to live, and the girl that he killed is no more. So I don't think that is fair enough, because if his life sentence, at least he will have to serve at least around, I would say, around 25 years, before he is considered for parole. So when he is now being sentenced for 25 years for murder, that's shocking. He's the victim of murder. He's not a victim. He's an offender of murder. The victim is Andiswa, that has been murdered. So the gentleman now, in a way, he might be relieved that he's not going to serve life sentence, because I understand that if they say that you are serving life sentence, it's serious, man. There's consequences. They're gonna take you to the toughest prisons for the first 4 years, 5 years, and then now after 6 or 7 years, we get to be a media and go to at least a little bit easier, but not so easy, but a little bit less secure, some few privileges and all that. But with that sentence of 25 years, within 3 years, 4 years, that guy is going to media. If he's conducting himself okay there. So we are now shocked, and we hope that whoever was responsible for that case, prosecuting that case, or the family of the victim will go to the court of appeal and appeal the sentence, and that guy must get life sentence. If that doesn't happen, there won't be a justice for that lady, because that's a very high profile case. That one, we needed to get those things. We needed to get at least life sentence. So through that, when that was happening, there was a lot of hype around the case, and then MacGyver, who's doing podcast and chill, he was talking to Chup Chup about other things. A lot of gossip. Chup Chup was talking about people's name, and included a lady called Amanda to Point. So when he was being interviewed, he talked a lot about other people. So I haven't listened to the podcast yet. I still need to listen to it, but I heard the snippet when he was talking about Amanda to Point, that he used to smash her and all that. So the lady went to Instagram. And started to talk, trying to defend herself, saying that Chup Chup wasn't smashing.
Hey guys, so I literally pray to God that He gives me the strength to be able to say what I need to say without crying the whole time. But I do realize I have been trending today, and things have been said about me to all my true supporters and followers. I honestly feel like you guys know the core and the essence of what I am, so I would be doing myself a disservice by not saying something. I think probably what I did wrong in the past is brush all of this under the carpet and not say anything, just because I don't like drama. I'm a peaceful person. I prefer to focus on my own things, but I'm different. I've grown, and I think I'm a really strong woman, and I believe other women should never, ever, 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 ever let another man step on the name you've built you've worked so hard to build. So I'd like to address things that were said about me by Mulema Marahanye, Chup Chup on MacG's show, as well as MacG. Okay, so there's three things that I mainly want to address. The first was saying that he smashed me. First of all, Mulema, you raped me. I was raped for 2 years solidly. So please don't make it sound like it was a relationship. I was absolutely afraid to leave. Afraid of the power that your mother had in being around you at the time. I was aware of the stifling and sifting of money your mother was doing with Oprah. So, and also what you guys did in terms of Muti and medicine, which you made me believe my life would be at danger if I spoke up. So, no, you didn't smash me. You forcefully opened my legs and forced yourself on me numerous times for 2 years, and made me believe I had no way out. In that time, I had an abortion, of course, because there was absolutely no way I would have a child that was forcefully given to me. And the most painful part about all of this is that I was a virgin.
You raped her for 2 years. Chup Chup wasn't smashing. Chup Chup was raping her for 2 years. That's what she said. She was even pregnant at some point, and then she did an abortion because she considered that a child of rape. So when those allegations come out, and you know who's Chup Chup, you know the situation with Chup Chup, I feel like Chup Chup should have just kept it low and avoided things that would put him in the high spot, because he just came out of jail not so long ago. It might be less than 4 years or 5 years that he was in Luoco prison. and then he went out to do Moja Love, where he was following people who were cheating around in a show that is not so that's not so progressive, is not so promotive of African cultures, of African ideas, is diminishing and also looking down on our people and just showing the bad side of our people. I don't really like those kind of things. I don't really endorse and follow those kind of things. I follow things that are promoting people that are showing progress. You know what I'm saying? So Jub, the dude, I like him. I like him as a person. I think he did good. He was a child star. He grew up in the media. His mother, I think, was famous. So he did good for himself, and he made good music as a hip hop artist, as a hip hop head. I was never really into his music, but my people who were around me liked his music because they were into church-like vibes. So yeah, those were the good song. He even made a good song when he came out of prison that he was asking for forgiveness. I thought he was going to lay low and just do his businesses underground and work himself up. But he chose to be a big mouth and talk loud. Now he's on the cloud. Now that's what he wanted. He's on the people's mouths. And also, what is happening now is also the lady was asking for whoever who can represent her to form a court case. So we will hear now what is the results of the court case. So I won't really dwell much about the actual rape thing, the 2 years that was spent, and the thing now is more than 10 years, I should think. So I won't really. The court will decide what is happening. The court will decide whether Jub is guilty or whether Jub is not guilty. So we will just wait and see, I guess, because the thing is now, when the time that has passed is this long, it's really hard to prove now beyond reasonable doubt that Jub is guilty. Because those questions were posed to Amanda to point, even in the papers, that people were hearing rumors. Journalists did follow her and try to get statements that they were hearing rumors that she was being abused and she's been raped, and people were asking, is that Jub who's been raping you? And she said no, and that was 2014. She said no. So that would be very bad in terms of creating a case when she said statements like that on a live magazines. But I think it was in Drama, it was on Sunday Sun, it was all over back then. Other people don't even know that Jub and Amanda 2 used to date. We used to hear about these rumors and stuff about her being abused or raped and all these kind of things, but it was never really proved that it was the guy, Jub. So I really hope that they clear it up, the courts do their due diligence and go through the systems, and the case goes to trial if it goes, and they prove beyond reasonable doubt that she was raped, or they prove beyond reasonable doubt that she was not raped. Either way, I don't really care. I have nothing to do with that. If she was raped, then she had to now to go through the processes and send the guy to jail. The guy must go back to jail and stay in jail. Yeah, man. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Check out the podcast on wherever you get the podcast at, man. You know your platform. You know which platform you love. If you love to check the podcast on Spotify, check on Spotify, man. Spotify is great. If you like to check like me, listen to podcasts on Apple Podcast, check it on Apple Podcast, man. Apple Podcast is also great. Even Google Podcast, because currently I can see that a lot of downloads and numbers are on Google Podcasts. Check in there. Well, I should think that the reason why the podcast is big on Google Podcasts is because people who are mostly working on corporate, with people who are working on places where they ban YouTubes and all these kind of streaming services. They don't really ban Google services because they work with Google, so they don't ban those Google Drives, Google what. So that's why a lot of people are getting access there, because when I check the data, most people they listen between 9 and 3 in there, and they're on desktop, which means they're at work. So yeah, man. So the way that you can really support the podcast, man, is just sharing. We don't need a lot. Just share to your 4 friends. Tell them about the podcast. Say that I've been listening to this podcast. This is what is happening. This is what and what and what and what. That would be great for us, man. If you can donate, check out the donate button on. I will leave the PayPal link if you want to download through PayPal or PayFast. I will also, if you are on listening to the website, go to manezafa.co.za and check the download, the donate button. Click on that, or check the on where you see products, music. There is a download there. Download 30 rand in there and pop up. We're gonna make the studio look nice. One day you will see us on the big studio, man. You can even see my fat stomach on one day, because now there's very small space now and the camera is not that big now to be very far. It's not gonna be nice. So yeah, fikiria kwa undani ndugu Marco.